Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of my live tea tasting. I've got an oh, excuse me, choking already. I've got an exciting blend for you guys, and I am like really thrilled to continue on with the Arabica. Not so much the flavor for today, because as you guys know, hey gamer, welcome. As you guys know, I have a certain hesitancy for a certain flavor. So this week's, I'm sure those of you who know me already know what I'm getting at. This week's blend is going to be Arabica Earl Grey. As you all know, I am not the biggest Earl Grey fan, but I'm not going to use that against the tea. That's just my personal preference. I'll still just be talking about the quality of the flavor. And honestly, it smells really good. The only thing is, it doesn't smell like something I'd like to taste. Well, I'm gonna start off with the flavor profile. It's hey Cap, welcome. Earl Grey for the win, not for me. It says Arabica tea, orange, bergamot flavor, and blue cornflower. So it's a pretty simple recipe, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, because, I mean, you know, me and Earl Grey don't get along very well. Now, this is very, Sneha, welcome. It's a very perfumey kind of flavor. Not flavor, kind of scent. It smells very fruity, very, like shampoo. Like a certain kind of cologne. It's gonna be like soap, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. The only thing is, to me it also tastes like soap. So I am hesitant to try, but I'm excited because I have been fooled by my own distastes before. So we'll see. And also, there was an Earl Grey that had orange in it that I actually kind of sort of liked. Thanks for the compliment. It's a Marvel Zombies, the Funko version. But anyway, so we'll see. All right, right off the bat, this is very like soapy, perfumey. Let me lower the. It's starting to get a little bit hot already. It smells very clean, very fragrant. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting one. Here we go. Okay, so it's not bad. I'm tasting the orange over the bergamot, which I'm gonna open up the window just a little bit behind me because it's so hot in here. But yeah, it's very fruity. I'm not getting a whole lot of bergamot, thankfully. But then again, I just took my first sip, so I'm sure that I'll just get more as I go along. So there's this like underlying vegetal flavor that's kind of running off the bergamot. So it's not as soapy flavored. Why am I hot? It's 15 degrees out because the heat is on, and I'm pretty sure it's on both vents. So all I have is hot air coming this way, hot tea going that way. That's why I'm hot. I would actually prefer a little bit of that 15-degree weather just to leak in through here. I'm sure I'll close the window as soon as it's done. But for right now, I'm super hot. So this flavor is not really that bad. It's not overly Earl Greyish. For those of you, what is the origin of Earl Grey? I mean, it came from England. There's no real solid origin story to it, but it was named after its discoverer, so they say, um, who was an Earl, the Earl Grey. I think Earl of Grey or Earl Grey. Um, and they said, oh, what was the story behind it? Um, how he went to China and like he picked up this tea that they used bergamot um, in it, and he just kind of fell in love with it. He brought it back to England. The only problem with that story is that Earl Grey has never been out of England, and they didn't make black tea in China. So, it's not really that reliable of a source, but it's a fun story to talk about nonetheless. Um, I don't know if there is an actual true origin story, but there's a lot of just tales about it, how it came about. But like Earl Grey. Oh, excuse me. Earl Grey is very much a 50-50 chance of liking it or hating it. The details may seem minute, but why do you always always put the "see more"? I cannot read all of this. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. That is way too much. But yeah, it's like there's no true story of how it came about. Um, there's just basically there's history, but nothing is solid. And I think that's part of what that all of that is that was just copied and pasted. That is a lot of text to walk through. But yeah, at the end it just says that the scent remains is subject to debate. So yeah, like it's just it's very clouded. Mm. I like that it's kind of citrusy. And now that I've had 3 different Arabica teas, I'm starting to get a sense of what Arabica should taste like. Um, from what I'm understanding through the similarities, is there's this kind of dry hay kind of flavor to it. It's very base, very. It's. I mean, it's still hard for me to pick out, but there is a common thread throughout the last 3 weeks that I've been trying to pick my way through. It's semi-vegetable, but not in the traditional sense. There's a certain kind of graininess to it. That's kind of like a textured. Um, it's slightly rough. What is? Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay, anyway. So as you guys can see, this is not a very colorful blend. It's just a lot of browns, yellows, and like a little kind of sort of green, but not quite. It looks like everything is already open, all the flavors. So when it's oh wow, I didn't get any orange in there, but there you go. You see these kind of orange peel chunks. Try not to drip it all over my laptop. But there are some chunks in, and that's exactly what I did. Got a little bit of tea on my laptop, despite my best efforts. But, what you gonna do? Now there's a kind of like, I'm slowly but surely I'm learning how to pick out the Arabica flavor. I'm getting kind of like it's a healthy mixture of earthy vegetation, if that makes any sense. Like I mentioned before, it was like a kind of dry, uh, like a dry leaf, kind of on the hay side, but not quite. You know, it's very fresh, very like God, this is it's so difficult for me to pick out because I've never had it by itself. So it's really difficult to describe. I mean, for an Earl Grey, this is not bad. It's not too heavy. It's not too astringent. It's not too bitter at all. It's very smooth, like the Earl Grey in it, and I don't mind. I really don't mind the way that this tastes. This might actually make an Earl Grey lover out of me, and that's saying something because it's not overpowering. I'm getting just enough orange and just enough bergamot to keep me interested. I don't even have to sweeten this. Normally, when I drink Earl Grey, I have to put a little something in it. This time, I did not because I wanted to keep the flavor pure for my viewers. But in this case, like it's not too overpowering at all. I'm still getting more of the orange over the bergamot. Now, traditionally, people drink Earl Grey with cream and sugar, and I highly recommend that because, but you know, this one's got a nice citrus blend. I can't even call it bergamot. Because that bitterness is just not there. It might just be that all the Earl Greys that I've had that were mixed with black tea, the black tea itself lent some sort of bitterness to the blend as a whole. So that might be where my dislike came from. But this is actually pretty smooth. The Arabica has a slight texture, but other than that, there's no bite. You know, there's no astringency at all. And I'm starting to wonder if I can ice this. I mean, technically you can ice any tea, but this might actually go well because it's very citrusy, very fruity, and the underlying Arabica isn't really affecting the flavor very, very, what's the word? Very drastically. Now, as I mentioned before, this was, I forgot to, I just realized I forgot to look up the health benefits. I don't know, this just popped into my head. I'll have to do that next week for sure, because next week's going to be the last week that I have an Arabica tea. But I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, what was I saying? That it just tastes like... Yeah, it's gone, whatever it was. Oh, no, don't worry about it. That's my responsibility. I'll get the health benefits. The last thing I need is a 10-page book pasted onto there. Oh my god! But this is really, really nice. It's really smooth. It is caffeinated as well. Well, yeah, energy booster because it's caffeinated. I would imagine, you know, there's a couple of other things. I also assume that it helps digestion because it is coffee related. So you see, that was number 2 though. Do I know how to call it or what? Yeah, what else? Come at me. Dental benefits? Okay, dental benefits I did not see coming. I mean, I'm all for it. But yeah, like that's kind of surprising. Boosts immunity? Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Because a lot of the teas do. I'm really loving the way that this tastes. Now that I'm like dropping my I'm dropping my preconceived hatred of all things Earl Grey. This is actually not bad. I can see myself drinking this blend at least more regularly because it's not too heavy. It's kind of like a citrus. Um, it's kind of just like a very juicy blend. I can actually see this being iced, no problem. I might do that as an experiment, maybe overnight or something. I'll just put it in the fridge. We'll see. And now I'm not too worried about doing the Thomas taste because Earl Grey and Thomas taste, not a good combination for me. But here we go. Ready? Okay, okay. It's very smooth, very citrusy, kind of sweet, more on the orange side. I'm not getting a whole lot of I'm not getting a whole lot of Earl Grey flavor at all. I think I found a really good new Earl Grey that I actually like. You know, and we have record of this now. We have record of it. I like an Earl Grey blend. There, I said it. um, yeah, I know, gamer. It's been a long journey, but I mean, I tend to like a lot of things anyway, overwhelmingly so. But in this case, it is a huge surprise. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. Oh, that's very delightful, actually. I can get used to that. All right, questions, comments, anything you want to talk about? Now's the time. I'm gonna go ahead and answer Teresa's question. What would I pair this with? This is a very summery kind of flavor. All the citrus, all of the. Why did I not like Earl Grey before? Gamer says. Basically because it's like there was that shampoo bitterness that it tastes. You know, like Earl Grey tastes like shampoo to me, and you get that. Oh, that's a nice, refreshing flavor, and then right behind it's that bitterness that I should not have put that shampoo in my mouth. Kind of deal. I've built up a tolerance to the taste, but I've never really quite enjoyed it. Like a Tide Pod. Good evening, Evo. Welcome. But yeah, it's very much like, how do I put this? Earl Grey on its own has always had a history of hit or miss. I've never been able to drink it just on its own, and that's something that I'm going to have to work on. This is still not just on its own because it's got the orange and it's got the Arabica in it, and it's all compiling into one whole blend. But that being said, drinking the Earl Grey on its own with a black tea, it's difficult but not impossible. You know, for me, I've built up that tolerance, and I've learned to suppress the yuck factor, basically. But I mean, you know, it's all part of living and learning and figuring out what you like. I also, as I've mentioned before, I love drinking Earl Grey with lapsang, but it needs a lot of lapsang, you know. So that's something that I'm starting to build on. So what would I pair with this? I mean, since this is not your typical Earl Grey, I would say I would keep things fresh, lively, and full of that summer feeling, you know, and maybe have something light and airy along with it. You know, you get like a summer salad, something with fruits in it already, maybe cranberries. What else? What else? Maybe a light grilled chicken. Um, Nothing too heavy. Maybe a fish dish. I think that this would go well with it. And, you know, even as it cools off, it remains faithful to the flavor. You know, there's not a huge difference between the hot temperature and the now approaching room temperature. And I also want to mention the color. Like, the color is beautiful right here. It's nice and clear. You can see my finger through the glass. You have like this copper bronze kind of liqueur to it. I mean, sorry, not the liqueur, the just like the color. I'm trying to use fancy words. I got a little mixed up. Liqueur is more of a taste reference. It's long past bedtime. It's 2:20 a.m. But you wanted to come in and say hi. I absolutely appreciate that. I'm glad you did, because I mean you've provided enough entertainment for me for like a long time. So I appreciate that you jumped in when you did. What else? What else? Oh, announcements. That's where I left off. Okay, so we will be having another Zoom tea party, finally, first one of 2021. And it's going to be the virtual reality party. For the link, you can go ahead and check out the community website page on Facebook and get the link. Oh, excuse me. No, we're not going back to 2020, I promise. But we will be having the party tomorrow from 3 p.m. Central. Excuse me. 3 p.m. Central. Really? Okay. 3 p.m. Central. Yeah, that's it. So you're more than welcome to join us in. If you would like me to send you the link, I'll be happy to do so. Just hit me up in my DMs and I'll send you a link there. I don't have any other announcements off the top of my head. Just wanted to get you guys notified that we will there's going to be a couple changes on the catalog, because certain products have not been the printer is looking for a new supplier, so the products aren't available right now. Just if you want to order something, let me know and I'll let you know what's going on with it. But yeah, so I have sold a couple new products. I've added a couple pieces to the catalog. And if you have any questions or suggestions or anything, I'll be happy to talk to you guys about it. And I'll work with you, you know. What else? Is there? Yeah, there's really nothing else on the table today. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you guys all for joining me so much. This has been a really good experience. Very surprising, to say the least. Guys on Twitch, stick around for the after party. But I will be signing off on Facebook. So until next time, have a great night, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.